What is up, guys? How are we doing? I have had this Kaabo of King GT for probably getting close to a year now. Um, it's not stock anymore, but just kind of wanted to do a little review and kind of tell you guys about it. My experiences, other people's experience. I've done a lot of research and, you know, gone through some stuff with it. So, one thing you notice already is I have two of these here. I'll get into that in a little bit. But the factory ones only have one, and both controllers are in there. Both controllers are here. All the other crap's on the other side. But so let me tell you about stock. Stock, it's very fast. Gear 1 is pretty useless, but you can tune all that stuff with the TFT screen. You can go in the advanced settings and you can kind of tune it how you want. Now, my problem that I had with the factory controllers is that sometimes I would get a jolt of power. I'd be on the throttle, give it some throttle, and then all of a sudden when I go back on the throttle, the freaking thing would jolt forward, boom. And it was a very quick, very sudden jolt, and if you weren't ready for it, it could throw you sideways. It could get you off the scooter if your hands weren't on it. It could mess you up a little bit. I've mentioned this on the forums and stuff like that, and people know what I'm talking about. I would say a good 30% of these scooters, maybe even 40%, people know what I'm talking about. They're like, oh yeah, that jolt, I know what you're talking about, it's freaking scary, the throw you off thing. Yeah, that thing. Well, a lot of people have it and some people don't. I'm just going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that a majority of them don't have it. I wish mine didn't. So I didn't want to warranty the factory controllers. I actually had one of the guys ride it over there. I'm not going to mention his name, but he wrote it, and he didn't experience what I was talking about, which is crazy because they used to happen 2 or 3 times a ride. I got pretty good at knowing when it was coming, and I was able to pretty much predict it. So, but even then, it would still happen randomly. You wouldn't know. So you end up riding really tense, waiting for this random jolt, and it was not fun. So what I did was I changed the controllers out. But the stock controllers were very smooth. It was a very fun scooter. If I didn't have that jolt, I probably wouldn't have changed them. I was really happy with it. The range is great. If you're cruising at 25 to 30 miles an hour, you'll get 50 miles out of it. If you're cruising slower than that, 15, 20 miles, 15 miles an hour, who knows how far you'll go. You'll probably do 60 plus. I don't know. But I don't ride that slow. I cruise 40, 45, even 50 miles an hour. You'll find me doing pretty steady 50 all the time on this thing. The suspension, not the best. I was actually just working on that a little bit ago, and there's these bushings back here behind this rubber there. There's bushings back there, and what happens is those bushings get separated because there's a washer in there that's too small, and then the washer gets sideways and then it starts cutting into the bushing. So right now, if this thing were on the ground, I could push on this with my weight, with my arm weight, and push it down almost fully to the ground. So it probably takes 50 pounds to bottom that spring out, which is not okay. So I have other ones that I'm going to buy and put in there. But anyways, my review of the suspension is it's pretty stiff. The front, it's okay. It rebounds a little quick, but it works. I'm not really complaining about the front suspension. It's a little jarring. If you hit a big bolt, it's like boom, but it's suspension, it works. The rear suspension didn't work for me. I'm 230, 40 pounds, and right now, as soon as I stand on that thing, it goes pretty much down all the way, and I feel every bump because of the rear suspension. So when you're talking a VSET 11, or you're talking other scooters, the Namis, all that stuff, they all got real suspension. This thing's got 2 springs and a rubber bushing in there, and I don't think it's any good, if you ask me. But I'm going to change the bushings, and maybe it'll be better. It has decent travel, it's just the design is, I think it's kind of a cop-out. I don't know. It's not the best. They could have put a little suspension in there if they wanted to, I feel like. Okay. The stability of this thing is amazing. When I'm going 50 miles an hour, I am totally fine. I can look behind me, look at my shoulder, I can cruise, I can maneuver, I can do all of it. This thing does not scare me doing 50, 60 miles an hour. I've hit 62 on it with the GPS, and it'll go a little bit beyond it, but that's kind of where I'm pushing the limits with my setup. I'm working with the controllers and tuning them to do field weakening and doing that kind of stuff, but right now I'm just kind of slowly working up into the higher 60s. So yeah, battery is good. Went over the controllers. Right now I have Ryan Tronic 250 controllers in here, and I had a guy wire it up for me. I didn't do all the work, so don't ask me about it. I don't really know. But I've been tuning them with Vestool, and it's been really good. They're so smooth. The Ryan controllers are so smooth. Torque wise, I didn't actually find much difference in torque than the stock controllers, even though I was told they were going to be more torquey, but the stock controllers are surprisingly fast. But for me, they just had that glitch, so I changed them. The brakes are really good on it. It's got the zoom brakes, whatever. Not too much different from the nut brakes. People say the nut are better. Whatever, they're pretty much the same. I did change the throttle. This is a 270X throttle, and I like it. It's very comfortable, and it patches right in. 270X throttle will work with the stock configuration. Trying to think about anything else. For the money, the scooter's good. If you get one that jolts, it's not good. Yeah, so unfortunately that's my experience with the Kaabo WKGT. I'm trying to think of anything else to say. Oh yeah, I did get this custom mudguard here. I had there's a guy that 3D printed this mount that goes on the top here, and it lowers this front mudguard, because normally it's all the way up here on this bolt, and it's super high up and it looks kind of stupid. So this kind of hugs it, and it keeps it lower, which I think it looks pretty cool. The underglow lighting is pretty sweet. I got it on a little switch right here. Bingo. And you got the side lights, and then you got the lighting on the bottom. This comes out looking pretty nice at nighttime. It's kind of a cool blue. It's not a really deep hot blue like a Dualtron, but it's got a nice light blue color to it. And I had them custom wire these lights. These are actually blinkers. They're not always staying on, but for me, I wired them so they're always on, just kind of a side lighting, because it does not have rear lights. So if you got your blinker on, nobody really knows. It's hard to see it from back here. And also the taillights suck. Okay, that's a very common problem. They go out, this thing just eventually goes out, and it's really dark. It's not very light. So I have a light that I rig right here when I'm riding. And then it has weird problems with the lights too, like if you, on the stock ones, when the scooter's off or whatever, you grab the brakes, this light will start twitching out. It'll be like flashing, like really kind of flashing. If you grab the brakes, that's a very common problem. So Kaabo just has weird electrical issues. I don't have those problems anymore because I changed all the electronics in here. So now my lights are separate. The horn is stupid loud. I don't even want to do it for you because it's just loud and annoying. But it's kind of fun. It'll scare people real bad if you do it. So I want to get like a stupid little horn or something. All right, but yeah, the headlights on these are amazing. Very, very good. They go very far. They're blinding if you are not considerate of others, but they work very well. All right, guys, that's my Kaabo WKGT review. Yeah, good 60-mile-an-hour scooter, very fast, very stable. It's a lot of fun.